popular early songs, including For No One and Eleanor Rigby. Until this South Bank show, he's never re-recorded or been seen performing these songs.
Okay, something like this then, George. Your day breaks, your mind aches. You find that all the words of kindness linger on when she no longer needs you. She wakes up, she makes up, she takes the time and doesn't feel she has to hurry. She no longer needs you, and in her eyes you see nothing. No sign of love behind the tears, cried for no one. A love that should have lasted years. You want her, you need her, and yet you don't believe her when she says her love is dead. You think she needs you. French horn. In her eyes you see nothing. No sign of love behind the tears, cried for no one. Love that should have lasted years. You stay home, she goes out. She says that long ago she knew someone, but now he's gone, she doesn't need him. Your day breaks, your mind aches. There will be times when all the things you said will fill your head. You won't forget her, and in her eyes you see nothing. Sign of love behind the tears, cried for no one. A love that should have lasted years. It's just a nice song to sing, that one. It's and I like doing it, and it's a long time since I've rediscovered it, actually. I'm rediscovering some of my old songs, because it now is, it's years since we did it. And so to re-sing them isn't painful like it would have been 10 years ago when the Beatles were breaking up, because it was a reminder of all the wonderful days. Well, now there's enough water gone under the bridge for it to be a reminder of the wonderful days again, and not of the hell of the breakup. And in her eyes you see nothing, no sign of love behind the tears, cried for no one. A love that should have lasted. I'm remembering songs that we did, the Beatles, John and I, did way back when. And the interesting thing about them is that you don't hear about them these days. You hear about our well-known tracks. You're always hearing about Strawberry Fields or Sgt. Pepper or something, because those have gone down as some kind of milestone. But these other tracks, they were B-sides, and I just remember how they were written and the thrill I got of writing them, and why I liked to sing them, because the bass line went down as the tune went up or whatever it is. And those things still hold. They're still nice to sing. So something like For No One. I mean, I was toying around with the idea of songs like I'll Get You. I mean, I don't know if you remember that one. It's, oh yeah, I'll get you in the end. Oh yeah, you know. But it's, I love it. I love the period. I love the kind of innocence of those songs and the structure. They're just very simple little songs. And so it's nice going back to the simplest period we ever had, or I ever had as a writer. Probably one of the simplest periods I've ever been through. And rediscovering that I quite like them, and that they weren't just simple to be dismissed. They were lasting simple. I think that's what I like about them.
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be.
Very bloody appropriate.
There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly. Why she had...
Some of the fans, not to say, well, to extend the word into its full, give it all its syllables, the fanatics about your early songs will think that there's been a huge sellout, a great affront, blasphemy to the early songs by redoing them at all.
I don't know. I thought of that. I didn't think long on it, but I did think, oh, you're redoing Beatles songs. Sacrilege, wow, hey, man, heavy. But then I thought, no, that's not true at all. They're my songs. I mean, you mean I can't sing them ever again? And I thought that was more unreasonable an approach, that you're not allowed to sing those songs. I couldn't find one single reason why not, except good taste or something, and I don't think that's true, really. Mind you, Ringo has got another approach. Ringo's got more of the approach you were suggesting, because I wanted to play... Well, I didn't actually want to do it that bad, but the director wanted me to do Hey Jude, I think it was. And there's some very high notes in that, and I didn't fancy recreating them. I mean, you know, that's pretty hard to sing, some of those bits. So I wasn't looking forward to it, but I thought, well, I'll do it. You know, he wants me to do it, no big deal. But, you know, I don't like to make these things that big a deal, because it isn't really. It's only a song, isn't it? So I thought, well, I'll do that, and I asked Ringo if he'd be comfortable about doing it. He said, I'm not doing that again, you're kidding. He said he wouldn't drum on any and Beatles stuff. I think, and his approach is, I've done it. I've made the record where I'm terrific on Hey Jude, and it worked, you know. So don't ask me to do it again. And I understand that, you know. I think that's all right that he thinks like that. And I did have a bit of that feeling, but not enough of it.
Paul McCartney, The Making of Broad Street, will continue in a moment.
There's been a lot of scoring and arranging for this film, hasn't there?
Yeah, this has been...
How have you two of you worked together on... I mean, have you done a lot of work on the scoring and arranging yourself?
I would take a video home of the scene we were going to do, and I would write a tune the way I'd do it, which would be to sort of sing it, whistle it, put it on a cassette, and do something, the basic framework, the skeleton of the whole thing. And then I'd sit down with George and show him the video and say, this is what I think. And I'd say, well, I see cellos doing that bit. And he'd say, well, wait a minute, you've just gone out of the cello range, so we'll bring it up a little bit, and we can have the violas will do that. That technical information I need off George, because if a top note on a French horn is F, you know, I want to hear him play a G.
One of the problems in our film is we don't hear anything above 8 kilohertz. So all the hi-fi stuff we put in.
So can you play this with no 8 kilohertz in? Knock out everything.
Yeah, sure, it's got a sound. Can you get just one cut and focus? Yeah.
As well as coming to grips with the technicalities of film music, McCartney saw Broad Street as an opportunity to experiment with new forms of composition.
Yeah. And it's literally a film going through a photoelectric cell, and it just can't cope with higher frequencies. It's impossible.
The big direction I was interested in was that round about the time of writing Eleanor Rigby, when it must have been something like, I don't know, 25 or something, I was looking at the age of 30 and thinking, what am I going to be doing then, as we all were? And in my case, you know, it was a sort of young profession, the music thing, pop thing. And I was looking at, having just written Eleanor and worked with George on this kind of classical, quasi-classical thing, backup, instead of electric guitars for the first time in my life. I quite liked it. I like the tone, I like the dynamics of classical instruments. They're not all just on one level. There's quite good tonal ranges in them. So I was interested in that. And I did look at the age of 30 thinking, yeah, that's what I could do. I could become more into the sort of serious side of music rather than just pop hit, pop hit. But that never really happened. I just still was intrigued with pop hit and 3-minute folk song.
1, 2, 3. Ah, look at all the lonely people. Ah, look at all the lonely people. Eleanor Rigby picks up the the rice in a church where a wedding has been. Lives in a dream, waits at the window, wearing the face that she keeps in a jar by the door. Who is it for? All the lonely people. Where do they all come from? All the lonely people. Where do they all belong?
McCartney's chance to extend his composing skills came here with Eleanor Rigby. Using the same theme, the fantasy was designed to move from the Albert Hall into a Victorian landscape. The rough cut of the final sequence proved to be longer than first envisaged, and in its new length was presented back to McCartney for scoring.
All the lonely people.
To make things even worse, just for something to edit to, they'd put a Brahms violin concerto on for the track. So it was like, oh God, you know, what have they left us with 8 minutes here that we didn't know was coming? With a Brahms type mood to it. So that was the thing, you know, it was like, well, how to get out of that was the one. And so I took that kind of problem home and then thought, well, you know, if I turn the sound down on the video, and I just tried to write my own sort of classical music, sort of film score, tunes, really. I mean, it's still just tunes, the way I see it. You know, it's still, I mean, classical music is just a lot of tunes, or one reoccurring tune, or whatever, but it still generally is still what I do. But it's just a different way of doing it. So I approached it from my same old angle, which is to get a tune I like, to voice it the way I like it, to get the dynamics how I like them, to get it to come and go, to reoccur, and to do all the stuff I like to have happen in my music. But the big thing was there were no words to help me out, and to suddenly you couldn't keep bringing back choruses and stuff. It had to fit with the film. And I must say I enjoyed that. Harking back to this, what will I be doing when I was 30? Here I was at 40, being forced into what I thought I might have been doing at 30. So it kind of fitted. I thought, well, yeah, it's probably about time I tried to just do something different for me. So we've ended up, I'm not sure how long it is, I think it's about 9 or 10 minutes, where it just is pure music. It just is a classical orchestra. And they rabbit on for about 9 minutes. But I like the end effect.
They all belong.
Saying, you know, even Mick Jagger all been saying, well, at 50, he can't leave around like that at 50. I mean, we didn't, come on, Mick, you know, own up. You know, we just can't, love. Anyway, so you've got to be looking at something that's a little bit quieter, and you've got to be looking, in my case, I've always had this thing of composer as well as sort of singer and bass player. And I've always really liked it. It's always been one of my secret little dreams, you know. In a corny way, I've always liked that role of composer. So to see myself actually sitting down at the piano, I was really just checking for boredom and just checking, do I hate this, you know, or am I actually enjoying this? And I found when I got it right, to my satisfaction, I really enjoyed it.
out over the last 15 years, 15 years, for somewhere else to go.
50?
For somewhere else to go, you found one of the things that the other areas weren't attractive enough. I mean, people about your age writing other sorts of music obviously weren't persuading you that it was a desirable area to enter into.
That's right, yeah. I've always had my idea, I had my sights vaguely set on a musical. Probably because people who often used to say to John and myself, when are you going to write your musical then? You know, Lennon and McCartney sounds like a musical writing team, you know. And they did often used to say that to us. But no, it's never been attracted by the field, really. I've often thought, you know, one of these days things will be right. You know, conditions will be right, and I'll feel like doing it. But I don't really like to do anything unless that, what they call fire in the belly, is there. You know, if I actually wake up and think, oh, then I'll do I'll do something based on that. But if I wake up and think, oh, that's a good idea, no, I'm not sure, you know. And the minute I'm backing off, I think it's not that good anyway. I like to have quite a powerful feeling about a thing. So with something like a musical and those kind of fields, and even film music, to tell you the truth, I'd never... there's another side of me, my little conscience saying, come on, you're just posing. You just want to kind of be, you know, well thought of. Oh, now he's a classical composer. And it's that kind of Liverpool thing, saying, ah, you big poser, you know. So I've got to be really sure in my own mind that I'm not posing and that I actually do like it. You know, I don't want to do something just because it's poncy. I want to do it because I actually want to do it.
Is there a sense in which you miss having that person to talk to, in this case John Lennon, to talk to? Is there a sense in which, if he'd just been here, you could have moved on together?
I doubt very much whether John and I would have ever got back together writing. I think because of his breaking up with the Beatles and his association in other fields with Yoko, for instance, I think it would have been very hard to come back together. So I doubt whether we would have. You know, there were a couple of opportunities, and you know, before he died, and it didn't look like we were really going to get back together again. But I would have liked it. I mean, I liked working with John, and I certainly do miss having someone, not having someone. I miss not having someone like that around. But, you know, what can you do? What can you do? I mean, you know, I like... the main thing for me with a collaborator is if I think of something, that person then will say, no, that's rubbish, or that's great, or it's average. And the feedback I do miss, and John's feedback in particular, because John was a special writer. You know,